Welcome to the Blerdsnerds podcast.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, everybody.
Welcome to another episode of the Blerdsnerds podcast book club. I'm Shannon.
And I'm Mel.
Sorry.
And it's okay.
You can keep this in. I just always feel like I'm sitting lopsided in these things. Okay.
I was wondering, I was like, are you trying to like throw me signs? I don't ever know.
No. I just felt like I was crooked. Anyway, so we're gonna be talking about chapters 41 through 60 this episode.
Yes,
we're more than halfway through the book now. We're almost in the home stretch. 30 chapters left, guys.
Yes, and it is a heavy I feel like it will be a heavy last 30 chapters. These 20 there was a lot that happened. My whole book's underlined.
These 20 chapters were 20 chapters of me being mad at everyone. Every single
I'm kind of glad I'm not the only one, though, because I was like, I'm just annoyed at everybody at this point. Everyone's just acting not with like their mind, but just like everyone just jumps. And I kind of feel like, as much as I love this book, I feel like there's something missing. Like, does it feel too rushed, or maybe it's because the characters are all like, we gotta go, that I'm like, I don't know something. I'm just like, I don't know.
I don't know if it feels rushed. I don't think it feels rushed. I just think that the characters are stupider since last book. Everyone is stupid. Everyone in this stretch of 20 chapters have made really dumb decisions.
Yeah, you're not lying about that.
Except maybe Zelie. I don't know if Zelie made any particularly dumb decisions, but Amari and Inan definitely did. And we will get into that.
Yeah. Oh, I want to take a minute and say, so I wasn't here for Tuesday's episode, but I started listening, and you and Jossie did an amazing job. And yeah, I just wanted to tell you guys that you guys are awesome, and it's not easy, and we get it. So if anyone hasn't listened to that, go ahead and do that after this or before this. It's a really great episode dedicated to Chadwick Boseman, who sadly passed away from cancer. So that is all I wanted to say.
Yeah. I feel like I could have said more, but yes, still listen to it. It's out. It's out now.
Yeah, but it's kind of hard because you're like, do I exhaust everything? Like, and everyone's still processing, because you guys recorded on Sunday. So by then it was still very, very fresh, and still is for a lot of people. So I can understand that. I was driving up to my parents, and as it like comes in, as we're pulling into the town that they live in, and I was just like, I was very much in shock, because I like looked at it and I was like, this, like, I had to reread it. I was like, this isn't real. And I was like, what?
Yeah, I was very confused. I was doing something. I put my phone down and I went to go do something. When I came back, I saw the notification, and I was just like, what? I was like,
yeah.
I'm like,
who messed this up? This headline's not right.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But if you haven't had a chance to listen to that episode, I only started at the beginning, but it's really good, and Shannon and Jossie crushed it. So,
yes, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. I'm kind of sad I wasn't here for it, but again, you guys did an amazing job. Probably way better than what I could have even said. So, yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah. So, hard transition. Do we want to jump in?
Yes.
Okay.
So chapter 41, literally 3 pages. Inan catches up to Zelie and tries to talk to her, but Zelie's not having any of his shit. So, nope. And she tries to kill him right there on the spot. And maybe she would have if Zelie didn't need her attention more. So,
yep. A lot of resentment towards him.
Yep.
And she tries to fight him, so that's good.
Oh yeah, I said that. She tries to kill him.
Yep. And then he's still trying to talk to her and try to keep that peace. So when Ajore, yeah. When Ajore comes and tries to get at her, he's like, no, stop, But yeah, basically, Inan uses a sword to block Ajori's attack. And so then Ajori's like, what are you doing? What's wrong with
Yeah.
you?
So this gives Amari another reason to argue that her brother is on their side. So Ajori takes him away, and Inan is hurt again because he's always getting hurt by something.
Still can't use his magic, yeah.
Yeah, by getting caught up in something. This time it was Zelie. So they remove him from the temple, like sort of when everything starts dying down, and his mother comes and she's like, what happened? Blah, 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 blah. And then Ajori basically explains that he saved his life again, and she's basically ordering them now to destroy the temple because the temple will be a source of power for them, so it has to go, which is very, very sad. And Inan tries to stop this from happening at first, but then he's swayed by his mother, and I'm just gonna say that he's easily swayed a lot. He's too easily swayed. That is his problem. Inan is probably my least favorite character in any book that I've read in a long time. God,
especially being a king.
He has no backbone, and he tries to think that he has a backbone, but then it's very easy to break his so-called backbone. Just kick it, and then you can get what you want out of him.
Yes. Playing devil's advocate, his mom seems like a very scary woman. So,
but not even
but
just,
he
not
is.
Even,
but yeah.
not even just his mother though. It's just with everything.
No, it's true. I 100% agree with that. I just wouldn't want to mess with his mom. She just seems so evil. But she basically throws it in his face that they don't serve the magi, and they don't even serve the land. Basically, they just protect their throne, which is kind of what is the contradiction between what he obviously wants and even what Amari wants with his mother. And it's almost like, but your people are a part of the reason you even have the throne. You know what I'm saying? Like, without anybody, you would be the ruler of no one. So to kind of throw people on the side, the other people who live there, and act like they don't matter is really selfish.
Yeah. So basically, Nihonda destroys the temple with her scary centaur magic.
Yep. And he kind of holds that resentment and says that his mother magic has taken everything from him, and basically is trying to find someone to talk to, and says if Zelie won't listen to him, that he will find someone who will listen to him.
Yep.
AKA his sister is who I'm guessing.
Yeah. So this next chapter, chapter 43, is Amari's chapter, and they're just getting back to camp after 4 days after going on the mission to find the scrolls. There's a cute little moment between Amari and Zane here that could have turned rated R, but they were cock-blocked by Amari.
Oh my gosh, you know what's so funny? Right after, it's like, where do you think you're going, or whatever that was? I almost wrote something along the lines of cock block, but then I scribbled it up. So if I pass this book on to anybody, I don't want anyone to what the heck about my notes. But yeah, flutter between the legs.
Yeah. Cock blocked by Jai. So she can go fulfill her civil duty as a elder. So
Zane cannot fulfill her civil duty at that moment.
Yeah. So basically she has to go to a council meeting, and they're basically trying to figure out what the new script on Zelie's skin means. Mama Agba is studying it, and they basically figure out that her skin, like the markings on her skin, is basically the mark of the moonstone. And we learn that the moonstone it's not a physical object, it's more of like a power that is bestowed upon you by the gods. So they learn that the moonstone has the ability to bind life forces together, and everyone thinks that is the ticket to win. Like that's the power that they need, but they learn that that kind of power is dangerous.
So dangerous.
Yep. Yep. And also, in order to create wait, sorry, I'm just trying to make sure that I get this right here with the two different things. Because if they bind life force, it's not when they bind life forces together, but when they create more
It's basically
centaurs.
like they're
Oh yeah, if they can use it to create more centaurs, but they said that if they create more centaurs, it's gonna come at the cost of sacrificing someone you love, right?
yes, and for her and her mother, it was her father. But
Mhm.
my question is, so this where I kind of got confused in this area because basically it's a one for one transaction. You sacrifice someone you love, you become a centaur, correct? Is that
I mean, that's what they're making it sound
but
like. No. I think that when you create, let me see. Hold
yeah.
on. More centaurs are given from prior- Yeah, I don't know. That part is a little confusing, I guess.
So basically, from my understanding, it was that like you give up somebody you love and you become a centaur. But then why did her and her mother both become centaurs? You know what I'm saying? So I wrote in here, I was like, was it a 2-for-1 deal? Like, why can they only create one centaur for a sacrifice, but both of them became centaurs when that happened? Because they were remembering that the father was the center of that.
Yeah,
Just
I don't
wanted to
know.
make that note. Hmm.
Yeah, I'm not really sure why that is. It's a little confusing now that you say it. Um,
Yeah. And that's the catch. So if you want to be able to do that, you have to be willing to lose somebody you love. And obviously, that's kind of like no one's willing necessarily to do that.
yeah.
And nor does Zelie or Amari really want people to have to go through that. So they still have a lot. They have never lost the love for their people just to try and win over this war that's
Yep.
going
And
on.
so, and Zelie says on page 210, halfway down, she says, what if I could find another way? Use the moonstone to bind our life forces without killing someone we love. And then Mama Agba basically warns her that a power that volatile could consume anyone it touched. And binding your life forces to someone else, to someone's life force, binding yourself to someone's life force means binding yourself to their death. So it's a foreshadowing of what's to come in the later chapters of the book.
Yes.
Uh, Yep. So basically, they're left basically with that warning that they should not be doing that.
On 211, I will say so. Amari's still about finding peace. And at this point, I'm actually starting to become a little bit more of an Amari, like her ideals. I'm like, okay, maybe peace. I mean, not that I was against the peace, but I was like, she was just so gun ho about like have to find a non, but like you don't have the steps to get there. And so after this, um, I'm like, hey, if she's willing to be the one to go out there and find the peace, then maybe we should just let her, you know?
Yeah, but so she's still talking about peace, but Kenyon makes a point that our future isn't certain until we have Amaji on the throne, and no one in the palace will agree to that. Very true. Which will
Very
also
true.
be some foreshadowing of. It's also foreshadowing of later chapters. But yes, I always understood Amari's bid for peace, but I just don't think that she, I mean, I thought that she was capable of, going about it the correct way, but she went about it in a very stupid way. Anyway,
Yeah.
so
Again, jumping.
yeah.
Um,
So basically in this chapter, her and Zelie are arguing, and she brings up Anan, and she's like, he still cares for you. I know you
mhm.
Sorry. Siri keeps popping up in these headphones, and it's, oh my god, it happened again. Gonna freaking, I hate
So you
you.
called the
Anyway,
S name.
she was like, he still cares for you. I know you care too. And then she gets really defensive, and she's like, we just can't trust him. And you know what, Zelie? You're right. You can't trust him because he's a little backstabbing little traitor.
I will say, I do have a note to make that I did like before I was very much like she wants like no matter what because she says, I could never agree to that. He's my blood kind of like thing. I'm like, yeah, she's never ever going to agree to end his life or
Yeah,
go against her brother. And that's
for
just
now at least.
for now at least. But, that's where the problem is. And it's like, how can we have someone who's going to be for wanting to be the queen and wanting peace, why if Inan doesn't want that? You know.
Yeah.
Also, something else happens later that I'm like, both of them can't agree to that. It's never gonna work. They both just are too different.
Yeah.
Ugh.
And so Amari basically says, if you won't spare his life, then I won't fight for you. And she's like, you need me because I'm the only centaur you have. And then Zelie basically says, we don't need Amari. We don't even need to become centaurs. We can just use the scrolls and train. That's what they went to Chandler for, to get the scrolls, and they have it. So they just figure that they're going to train and that we don't need Amari's power.
Yep.
So
It's
you
only
can
a
kind of
matter of time.
yeah, we can the rift between them is getting bigger and bigger, and we kind of all saw this coming. Ever since they got to the sanctuary, we knew that their differences and basically what Amari has become by no fault of her own is like kind of driving a wedge between the two of them.
Very, very true.
Yep.
Basically, it's funny because again, they're kind of young, although we do find out actually Inan's age later on, which
Yep.
I made sure to make a note of that, but they just seem so young. Like they're just like, fine, like we're not friends anymore, and then like just storm out of there, like, you know, go to your room. It's like,
Well, it's Zelie that seems like that, really. It's not even Amari. It's Zelie.
yeah. I think I just put them together because they're both. Also, we're hearing the internal fight between them. So even though she's not saying it to her, when we hear Amari speak to herself, I'm like, kind of also being that way. But yeah, Zaley's definitely outwardly acting very young. Her age is showing.
Yeah, I'm gonna guess that Zelie and Amari are probably around like 16 or 17. I'm gonna say 17.
Yeah, I think that's about right. But we also have to remember, I think they said their ages or alluded to how old they might have been in the last book, and then we have to just calculate from there based off of how much time has passed. Anyways,
not that much.
They both act like they're very, very young. So
yeah. So in the next chapter, Zelie's getting ready for training. Mama Agba comes to see her in her room and gives her a collar. I guess it's an elder collar because we figure out that all of the elders are wearing them.
Hers just fits differently.
Yeah, and Zelie's having doubts about if she was the right kind of person to be an elder because she's feeling guilt about how she temporarily abandoned her clan while they were at Chandoble to go kill Inan. And Mama Agba basically tells her that if she wasn't meant to be an elder, her ascension would have been rejected. So she's basically telling her she was meant for this job. Yes. So I don't think Zelie's meant for the job. She's too fueled by her rage. Anyway, but
can I note that I really do like how they have sort of this relationship and friendship too at the end of the day by you know, Mama Agba says, I know way more about you guys than I ever want to know. It's kind of like, you know, when you talk to your parents later on and they like, oh yeah, we knew you were doing that all along.
Oh yeah, the gossip.
Yeah. And then she's like, oh my God, did she hear about me and Rowan? And I was like, I didn't know her and Rowan were actually a thing. Like, you know,
yeah.
Apparently this is kind of, I guess, also foreshadowing how strong of a connection they did have, but I never really saw it because it was only like for a chapter.
It was for a couple of chapters. I mean, we've seen little glimpses of it. Like, yeah. So, Zelie's acquiring with Mama Agba about her Ipsia, and she was wondering if she can combine different types of magic together. And Mama Agba tells her that it's very rare and it's only been done once before, and that basically is what caused the birth of magicite, which is the powerful mineral, basically that is fatal to them.
Yep.
And the two Magi were killed on impact.
Yes,
the ones that
which were a grounder and a cancer who combined their magic and basically created an explosion throughout the land. So it's kind of cool to get a little bit of the backstory and the history of how this even became the Orisha it is now.
Yeah. And Mama Agba basically says that if a connection like that could be sustained and the wielders survive, there's no telling what could happen. A grounder and a burner could raise volcanoes from the earth. A reaper and a healer might even be able to raise the dead. So, like, unpredictable things will happen if you use this sort of magic. But this is obviously foreshadowing for something that's going to happen. And I feel like Zelie later in the book is probably going to do this somehow. I just don't know how.
Yes, Shannon.
I'm going to go ahead and guess right now that her and Amari are going to combine powers. putting it out there right now. We'll see if it happens.
I'll add a twist to that.
Or
Amari
Inan.
and Inan.
Well, they have the same power, so they can't combine their powers. They're both connectors.
Yeah, but still having the power together.
Oh, that's true, but she's specifically talking about two different types of magic.
Different.
Yeah.
But I'm still wondering if that will be part of it, because I feel like I don't know, I feel like there's so much alluding to the fact that at some point they will try to work together more than, this.
I think so, but I don't think it'll be those two. I think that specifically for this moment that Zelie and Mama Agba are having, I think that Zelie and Inan or Zelie and Amari are gonna do that.
Yeah.
Because it's two different. It's two different magics.
It's funny because a lot of I guess it's almost like, do you connect circles and squares or X's and squares, or like you have so many different ways it can go. But yeah, I totally get what you're saying. That would be kind of cool though.
Yeah, and Mama Agba tells her that she shouldn't go that route, and Zelie's like, it's not the plan yet, but it's obviously gonna be the plan. Later, I'm calling it now. So a little later, Zelie goes to train her clan, and she's training them how to basically use animations to fly. And I can kind of picture what was happening when I was reading this, but really I still couldn't really picture it. But I kind of could. But I couldn't really. So I guess
I definitely like it. I liked picturing it, and I really hope this does indeed become a movie. My goodness, I'm so sorry, everybody. I can't speak today, apparently. I really hope it becomes a movie, because that would be really cool to see how they make it happen visually.
Yeah. What clan would you want to be in if this was real?
I think I would want to I think we talked about this last book club with this book, and mine was really, I'm sorry, there's a car going by, everybody. Really loud car. I think I would want to be the animal. The
tamers.
Tamer. That's what it is. Yeah. How about you?
I don't know. What's the water people? I would want to be them.
Is that the diver?
Is that what they're called?
I don't have the cover with me, but actually, if you look inside your cover, you'll see all of them.
What?
Is it not there?
Oh, no, it's
it's on the first page. Never mind.
Yeah, I was like, wait, what?
I thought it was on the cover.
Tighter, even though that's a stupid name. That I remember why I don't remember it, because it's dumb. Tighter, yes. Anyway, the next chapter, Amari is trying, which, first of all, this made me a little mad, because I don't know how Amari expects to teach her clan about incantations when she doesn't know the language, which she what she kind of says here, that Zelie's had to help her every night with the reading and understanding the scrolls. So I'm just kind of like, this is even more evidence that you were not meant for this job. Like, you know nothing, and you're trying to teach these people about their own culture.
It's almost like, what's the answer to number 2? And you're like, A. And I'm like, yeah. So everybody, the answer to this is A. And, I get she's trying like A for effort, but you're also not the person that should be in this position. Sorry.
Yeah. And she's also trying to learn the incantation to create her own dreamscape, which, if we remember from the first book, was where Inan used to take Zelie all the time to communicate with her.
Mm-hmm. And where she last tried to kill him.
Yes, but she can't seem to figure it out. And she tries to figure out if asking Zelie for help would be a good idea. Which, when I read this, I said, of course, asking Zelie for help would not be a good idea. Of course, she's not going to teach you how to create a dreamscape. She's going to figure out immediately why you're using that, because it's not an offensive type of incantation. So, there's no reason for her to be learning it.
Well, yes, and obviously she does end up catching on to that. But before she does, she did almost have her for a second, because I guess Zelie didn't Zelie doesn't know that Amari knows what the dreamscape actually is. So at first she was almost about to help her, and then she caught on. She's like, "You don't need this. You don't need this."
Yeah. And I said from the beginning, I was like, she should have just went to Mama Agba for help. with this one because she would have been less likely to pry so much. But everyone's making stupid decisions in these chapters, so whatever.
Yeah, especially because they already are saying how there's such a rift between them. Like, I get they're obviously supposed to be on the same team, so they will like do that. But to ask her for something like that when you know that she'll catch on, it's not very smart of you. Not very smart at all.
Yeah. And like Zelie's warning her again that like she can't trust Inan, but Amari doesn't listen, and she's stuck in her ways and could like thinking that her brother can help. And like I don't blame her for thinking that her brother wants to help because he did want to help genuinely at this point in time. So, I mean, no fault is to be had in this matter. But basically Zelie rips up the scroll and drowns it in the river. So it's gone now. No chance of learning how to create a dreamscape from the incantation. And she's like, get back to training. I don't want to hear about this again. So then she's gone.
Yeah, isn't that again? I think that's where their ages kind of pop. I can't imagine like they'll be like, no, like like holds it over her head and then like throws it in the water. It's so funny.
That would make me really. I feel for Amari. That would make me really. I would be so frustrated.
Oh, I'd be pissed. I'd be so pissed.
I would be so frustrated. And then Mama Agba comes to help her, and then she's like, "Why is everyone fighting against me?" And then Mama Agba takes her to a little garden to kind of tell her to like relax and meditate and just like reflect, kind of. And she tells her that she used to sit here all the time. The temples were created for meditation, but no, sorry, that's not important. She tells her that she used to come here all the time, and basically she talks to her. They have a conversation, and Amari's like, "Is it wrong to fight for peace?" And Mama Agba says, "I think life is more complicated than right and wrong. I think you will never obtain peace trying to prove either one." So,
can I say, when I read this, and I'm glad you reread it because I was going to reread it. I think that's such a strong parallel to what we're actually living in this world. And when it comes to like the climate that we're in with everything that's happened in 2020.
Yep.
I'm like,
well, when you think about it, I mean, stuff like this is why she wrote the book. If you read the author's note at the end of the last book, this is exactly what she based this story off of. So that's why we're seeing such strong themes. Oh no, my bookmark. That's why we're seeing such that's why we're seeing such strong themes of what's happening now, because this is exactly why she wrote it.
And what's interesting is like it's no surprise that a lot of people are going through ebbs and flows with a lot of different things that are going on, myself included. Some days I have better days than others, and I'm just like, why can't people just see things though? Everyone goes through that struggle. And so I'm just like, when I read that, I actually marinated on it for a while. I was like, I think you will never obtain peace trying to prove either one. And that's kind of just like, let it, like, it is what it is almost. And I don't really like that saying. I don't know why. I think it's because it's like, but it doesn't have to be, but it is. And so I felt very strongly towards that particular sentence in there. Anyways, sorry.
And so Amari says on page 230, she's like, "I know my brother has made mistakes, more mistakes than most, but no one will ever understand what it was like to grow up with my father. Inan bore the brunt of his torture," which is true. And then Mama Agba asks if she empathizes with him. And then Amari says that she understands him and like why he is the way that he is now. And he does want what's best for Orisha, but Zelie and Aki refuse to listen. And then so there's a moment where Amari thinks that what she said has gone too far, and then Mama Agba says, "I don't think you've gone far enough."
Yep. I think that.
Yep. And so I'm just going to read this little thing that she says here. She's like, "You speak of war as if it is the start, but the Magi and the monarchy have been fighting for decades, centuries. Both sides have inflicted great pain on each other. Both sides are filled with mistrust. You cannot blame Zelie for her actions any more than you can blame Inan for his past mistakes. You have to look beyond the surface if you truly want to achieve the peace you seek." And
ding,
that is
correct. Ding. That is it.
Yep. That is correct. And then,
why do you think Mama Agba is giving Amari this kind of wisdom? Because I feel like this is way more like depth to what she was saying versus what she's kind of like telling Zelie. Does that make sense?
She's not really even telling Zelie anything about this.
Exactly.
So I mean, I don't know. I think she knows that Amari has more. Now I'm not gonna say more sense, but I think that I think she realizes that Amari has more of a level head at this moment in time. You know, and it would be the most receptive to this information.
Also, I've never really seen them be close, so maybe she doesn't. Maybe she's just trying to fill her with wisdom because she doesn't know her as close as she knows like Zelie, where she knows Zelie since she was a little girl, so she knows what she's like thinking about besides this. Whereas Amari's only focus has been this.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And so Amari basically thanks her for talking to her. And she's like, thank you is unnecessary. Your courage has given back so much to me. I'm as grateful to you as I am to Zelie. Because again, she realizes that, you know, Amari is the one that brought magic back. I mean, she didn't bring it back, but it is because of her that it is back. She's the one.
Sorry, loud car going through again. I think it's the same car. Just sound. Wait, one more time. Oh, I think they're hanging out because I keep hearing them roar. I'm so sorry, everybody.
It's okay. Yeah, so basically, and also Mama Agba says that she lets Amari know that she's a centaur and for better or worse, they're not bound by incantations. So she can probably try to contact her brother just by focusing on it, and she's been going about it the wrong way. So after she tells her that, she leaves her, and then basically Amari gets to work trying to summon her brother into a dreamscape. And you kind of see that moving into the next chapter, he's kind of slipping in and out of this heavy sleep that's just basically washing on him, and that's Amari trying to like pull him into the dreamscape.
Mm-hmm. You see it right off the bat when his mother is trying to get his attention, but it's almost like he's, you know, daydreaming. They're trying to come up with a plan, and
yeah, they're trying to find the IKEA base.
And the Titans have been training, so they are not sleeping. They are all at work.
Yeah, and so once he dismisses everybody, he's alone with oh my god, I forgot how to pronounce his name. Ajore. Yes, okay, cool. Who he's kind of been avoiding since the temple when he blocked his attack on Zelie and Amari. And Ajore basically doesn't understand Inan's feelings at all. And he's basically saying that they have to die, both him and his sister. And this chapter right here should have been enough of a warning to know that Inan really can't trust Ajore.
I know. Yes. The foreshadowing to this is really, I think it's one of those annoying things where I'm just like, later on when something happens, you're like, but why? But why did you have to do that? Ugh.
And yep. I mean, I guess he can trust him, but he can't trust him with any information that has to do with the Magi.
No, because at the end of the day, he doesn't understand the magic at all. He only feels in debt. Oh, I'm echoing. Oh, did they fall out?
Yeah.
He only feels in debt to help and be there as a protector because his parents took him in when his family, you know, died.
Yep. And so after Ajore leaves, Inan gets pulled fully into the dreamscape. And so this is a nice moment here in the next chapter when Amari and Inan are reunited in the dreamscape. They seem very happy to see each other. And they start talking. They talk about Zelie first, and Inan asks if she's happy. And Amari tells her that she's determined to kill him. But like even then, Inan was like, well, as long as she's happy, like she's happy with her clan, like she deserves to be happy. And so they're having this little moment, and it was a
Okay, I think they're gone.
It was a cute little moment that they're having here, you know, as they're talking and they're bonding over their stupidity. As book comes.
That's a good way to put it. That is a good way to put it.
And so Amari tells him that they're training to annihilate him. I keep trying to convince the IKEA that peace can work, but they don't trust the monarchy. They want to put Zelie on the throne. So Inan's kind of surprised by this. And then Inan asks, what are they after? What do they need to end the fighting? And then Amari tells them that they need power and true freedom, and they want to end the torture and baseless persecution. A real place in this monarchy, and is saying what happens in the kingdom. And Inan was like, cool, I'll do that.
Yep, we'll do it.
And, you know, again, he was sincere in that, but again, Inan doesn't have a backbone, so he says he'll write up a treaty. Oh my God, these 2 pages. He says he'll write up a treaty, and then he said he'll bring it to them.
Just gonna walk right in
And
deliver
then
my
Amari,
invitation.
and so me thinking Amari has sense, being like, okay, like maybe I'll bring the IKEA out, like maybe we'll pick a meeting point, like in some random part of the jungle
That
somewhere.
would have been good.
But
Yep.
she's like, you have to come alone. Like, wait, what? You're literally about to tell your brother where the hideout is? What
I
is
know,
wrong with
I know.
you?
And we did say this last episode when we said the only way they could know if he was being sincere, though, was if he went alone. We didn't mean take him to the hideout. What are you
Oh
talking
my
about?
God. Oh my God. When I read that, I was like, what is wrong with you? Why would you bring him to the hideout? Why would you bring him there? He's
Just
your
come
brother.
on over. We have really good food.
There's some things that he just doesn't need to know. Like, literally just pick a random patch of forest and meet in the middle. So,
Yeah.
because even if they were attacked there, at least they wouldn't know where the hideout was.
But would they actually go? I guess is kind of like where you get.
I guess
stuck,
that's
'cause-
true, but like, you still can't give up the whole location of the sanctuary. You can't do that. That's the
Yeah.
dumbest thing that you could ever do. Like, that was
Yep.
so stupid.
Yep.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. So Anand's also kind of reassuring his sister that, like, yeah, their mother is a fierce woman, scary woman. But she is also really much hurt from her past, and that Orisha needs a queen who's willing to do whatever it takes to make amends. And so basically, they decide, hey, let's rule together, which in no world will ever work. This is the part I wanted to get to. It won't work. You already have differences, which is why you guys are on the opposite sides of this.
Mm-hmm.
So even though you guys both want, at the end of the day, you just want their family to still be in charge.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And so that's why I think it's an interesting dynamic that they're like, hey, you know what? Let's rule together. And like, no, red flags all over the place.
Right.
Yeah.
So the next chapter, Zelie, so they're basically ending training for the day.
Mm-hmm.
Zelie sees Amari. Oh wait, sorry. So basically she's training her Reapers. They're having a little race with the new incantation they learned.
Mm-hmm.
The flying thing. Yeah, so after the race is over, Zelie sees Amari kind of being sneaking off somewhere.
Suspicious, yeah.
So she tells her Reapers that she'll catch up with them, and then she goes to follow Amari, and she catches her right away. And then she discovers, this is when she discovers that she has brought Inan right to their location. And I would have punched Amari in the face if I was Zelie, because that's literally so.
Well, it's like, do you punch Zelie or do you try and kill him, or can you do both? Because they both kind of just deserve a slap up the head.
I would punch Amari first, because that was really stupid of her. That was really, really stupid of her.
Stupid.
That was so stupid of her.
You know what? This can only end really well. Clearly, no, not at all. I don't know how Amari just keeps having these, like, how do I call it? Like, cojones, I guess, is like the best way to put it. Like, why is she so bold to think she can just keep making these kinds of decisions?
It's true.
Girl.
It's true. And then in the beginning of the chapter, Zeli's like, give me one reason I shouldn't kill you both. There is no reason. You should kill them both.
Yep. Why do you second guess it? Why do you second guess it?
And so basically, Amari and Inan are trying to convince Zelie that, you know, he has a treaty and that he wants peace. Zelie is not buying this. She basically is ready to kill Inan and Amari. And I don't know what really changes her mind. So Amari's over here saying like, oh, I'm fighting for you. This is the only way. And it swings Zelie a little bit. And then I think
it's when he says, like, don't act like you don't know me, like you don't know my heart, but you do, you know, and kind of tries to get her to change her mind, which I don't know. Maybe I'm tainted from terrible relationships I've had, but I hate when people say, "Don't
Yeah,
act like you don't know my true heart." Like I don't like that
it's the
because why do you have
it's
to
the
throw it in my face?
it's the fuckboy line when they try to re-enter your life.
Thank
You
you.
say some
Yes.
stupid nonsense like that. Okay. Anyway,
Ooh,
but
teeth.
she fell for it though. She fell for it. He's
Yep.
like,
Yep.
it's not.
Okay, we've
He's
all
like,
been there.
it's not fair to ask you to trust me. Not after all I've done, all you've lost. But if you really want to protect your clan, why not choose peace? Why not choose the only monarchs in Orsha who will give you what you want? All right. Anyway, Inan.
Oh yeah.
So Zelie basically lets on her defense, and she immediately says that once she allows herself to relax and to let her defense down, she said that she feels better automatically. She says, "For so long, I've wanted to fight to make him pay for everything he's done, but somehow giving in feels right. Every chain around my heart starts to lift. If this peace is real, if it allows me and the Reapers to be free, that will be everything."
And then
So
sure.
she takes the treaty and she starts to read it, but all of this doesn't last long. She's immediately, they don't even get a chance to even think that this could be a real thing. Immediately, they hear the horns and they learn that the enemy is here.
Yep. And it's a horn that sounds just scary, like very ferocious. And yeah, she sees the black and gold of Nahanda's seal. So the war's there, whether they like it or not.
Yep. And so the next chapter starts. Zelie calls Inan a monster.
Yep, that's what she starts turning on her brother, saying, "You like what? How did they find out?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, no, I just told the drawer just to cover for me.
Yep.
Thought he would.
Yeah,
Sorry."
yeah, yeah. So he's like, this wasn't part of my plan. Only a drawing knew. He promised he wouldn't tell. Yeah, okay. He promised. That means that he definitely didn't do it.
He's
Okay.
like crossing his fingers behind his back, like, "Sure, bro, go ahead." Like, got you covered. Oh yeah, yeah. And this is where I'm like, Amari and not saying Amari and Anon, should either of you be on the throne?
Yeah. So Amari here finally realizes that her brother's a liar, even though he didn't do anything, but he just went about his plan stupidly. So now Amari doesn't trust him anymore. So Amari attacks him, and I think she's about to kill him. Right? There's a part where she's like,
Yeah.
there's a part where she's like, nothing will be right until Inan is dead, or something like that. She says something like that, right? I'm trying to find the
Yes.
exact quote. Yes. So she recalls Zelie's quote, and she'll like, he'll do the right thing when it's easy, but when it matters most, he'll stab you in the back. You can't trust him, Amari. All he leaves us with our scars.
And we do
So
hear that a lot throughout the next couple of chapters is this just starts seeping into her brain and kind of becomes her idea of like, okay, I guess my brother's not good, which then you're like, I don't feel bad for Nan because he clearly has made very stupid decisions, but he's actually trying to do good. He just fucks up along the way.
Amari's made some dumb choices too. Yep. So
Yeah.
she doesn't kill him, and she's like, we're done. You're not my brother anymore. You're dead to me.
You're not my brother anymore.
So dramatic. So dramatic.
I know.
But again, Amari, this is your own fault. Anyway.
Yep. And so basically, Anon tries to call off the attacks. And, clearly, Anon, no one's going to listen to you because no one is going to listen to you. So, so basically, it starts off, and I'm trying to paint a picture here. Starts off with let's say the first like stance of their soldiers seeping.
Who soldiers?
Nahandas.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. They seep magic into the earth. So we got that. And then basically like all this dirt and stuff shoot up into the air and turn to stone. And so they try to move their wagons. Sorry. Zelie's side tries to move wagons out of the way, doesn't succeed. Or it does succeed, but it's like basically becomes just like a huge mess, and then wood and metal go flying all over the place, crash and explosions, and yeah, basically now they're in a war.
Oh, are you on chapter 51? Okay, sorry.
Oh,
I thought you were talking
52.
52. You skipped a whole chapter.
No, we didn't.
Oh, okay, that's what you're talking about. Okay, I thought you were still talking about the part when Amari attacked the first wave of soldiers at the end of chapter 50. That's why I was confused. Okay, sorry.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. So wait, where are we right now? Sorry.
I'm on 52, basically, because that in between chapter isn't really. They just basically talking about like how it's starting, and then like
Well,
they're
no, this chapter is about how they attack.
yeah, they're calling the elders to come. 51 is about like let's get the elders together and everybody's coming, and then basically because they were out there already, her reapers are like kind of like, okay, I guess we're just gonna like turn around and fight, you know.
Okay, yeah, and their first wave of attacks worked. So
Yep.
and then basically now they're in the middle of all-out war. What's Inan doing while this is happening? Nothing.
That's what I'm wondering. I was like, no magic, no nothing. You have no commands. Like, I mean, it's not like they're gonna
Yeah.
listen to him. Clearly, he's like, stop the war, and they're just like,
Oh, he's
"Nah."
like, stop the attack. Yeah, okay, like that's
Yep.
gonna work. And then, of course, Ajore takes him away from the danger again because he's a fragile little prince, and he's always the one starting the trouble, but not sticking around to finish it.
Yeah,
And
both of them kind of just like always somehow don't get like tragically hurt, but they have no magic to protect them. So they're just always like, let me move to the side while everyone
Mhm.
like scuffles along and fights, you know?
Yeah. And Ajore, so he basically asked Ajore how he could, like, he was like, how could you do this? I gave you a command. And then Ajore says, I didn't have a choice. I couldn't lie to your mother. Well, then why would you say you promised you wouldn't tell? Because you had to have known when you promised you wouldn't tell that you would have had to lie to his mother. Like, you had to have
And
known.
also, like, I mean, I just don't get. I guess I want to know what led to the conversation of her being like, maybe she just asked him, "Where is he?" And he's like, he went to the sanctuary. I'm sorry."
And then so Inan to his mother says, I wasn't in danger until you attacked. We need to retreat now or else we're going to lose the war. And then his mother says, don't worry, we basically have it planned. And it's Jakoye and her forces. So the next chapter is literally about how Jakoye uses her evil center powers to suck the life out of her Titan soldiers, create huge wind knives that cause massive devastation to like the front lines of their camp.
Yep. And looking back, when she meant training, she was probably just killing off a bunch of people practicing. Which is kind of sad, you know.
And so it is in this chapter that Zelie and Mazeli have to combine their Reaper magic so that they can create strong enough power to take out Jakoye's overpowered being.
I'm sad.
It's all Amari's fault. It's all.
Also, I'm pretty sure I make a note in this later, but I'm just gonna say now, where the heck is she? Not
Yeah, I
once
know.
did she pick any part of this fight to join. Where
she
did you go?
she attacked the first line of soldiers when right after she threw Anon down to the ground. But then after that it doesn't show her doing anything. So I don't know where she went after that. Yeah, you're right.
Is she like, I mean, the least she could have done is like have faced it with them, you know, to show some type of loyalty. Again, later on, I don't know why Zelie has so much patience with her, because like, where were you?
Yeah, I know exactly. Because I think that Zelie stopped trusting her automatically once she brought Inan to the sanctuary, and once Inan betrayed them, she definitely like I don't even think she's concerned with Amari anymore. Cause in her heart, in her mind, Amari is just a traitor. So,
yep.
Basically, their combined magic works in taking out Jakoye,
which was a crazy battle.
Yeah, crazy power. It uses a crazy amount of power. They both collapse to the ground, and since their life forces are tethered, she can kind of feel his life getting weaker, and it's kind of affecting her as well. They realize that. So in the next chapter, when they get to the so the battle's kind of over now because they took them out. When they get to the infirmary, they're trying to heal them, but they're realizing that the healers can't heal both of them while there's still a connection there. And they're saying that they have to break the connection. And Zelie doesn't want to break the connection because I guess she knows that Zelie will die. But Mama Agba comes in and she breaks the connection for them, so that Zelie, so that they can heal Zelie. But they know that Zelie is not gonna make it, and he basically doesn't make it, and it's kind of sad.
It is really sad. Basically, his body starts to seize and spasm, and yeah, it's gonna be very heavy after this for Zelie to deal with, because not only, you know, did they fight physically to do this after she knows, like, first of all, he's never really killed anybody or anything like that, so he's never really experienced that. But then on the other hand, with it, it's very emotional because she made a promise that she wouldn't let anything happen to him.
Yep,
And
exactly.
she will definitely hold that to herself for a very long time.
And we all kind of know how Zelie harbors sadness and grief
and pain.
As we saw from her father, she didn't even want to use magic anymore after he died. So this is gonna be, it's kind of predictable how she'll handle this grief, especially when she held Zelie and her Reaper clan very close to her. So yeah. And so we kind of see that in the next chapter, like Feral screaming and like she's devastated and she's angry at Mama Agba for breaking the connection. And Mama Agba tries to explain to her that if she didn't break the connection, then they both would have died. And Zelie's like, I should have died. It should have been me and not him. And so Amari's kind of realizing that this is all her fault and that there's nothing that she can do after this to make this right. And it's kind of true.
There's sorry. Nothing that they can do. I only laugh because like enter Amari, right? She's like running. She's like, gotta go find her. Gotta go find her.
Yeah.
Where were you this whole time?
And I wonder how this is gonna affect her relationship with Zane, to be quite honest. Like if Amari, if Zelie hates her, how will it affect her relationship with Zane?
I don't think it really does. Because like we see into the next chapter, she and Zane do have a very quick moment of
yes, but that's before Zane knows what happens. Like if Zane ever found out that it's Amari's
she did keep it to herself. That's right. Yeah.
If Zane ever finds out that Amari is the reason why they even discovered the sanctuary, I wonder how it's going to affect
their relationship.
Yep. It's true. Oh my God. So in this next chapter, chapter 57, Inan comes to his own realization in his mind that the Magi, after seeing that battle unfold, that the Magi are dangerous and that the only way to end this war is to annihilate the Magi because they're too powerful. I'm sorry, Inan. Is it not your fault that they had to retaliate in the first place? I'm so confused.
You know what it is? Now you're saying that, I'm like, people have trouble in this book accepting fault of what they do. They don't accept like that they do something wrong.
Right. So the Magi were So the Magi were defending their sanctuary, and that is why they unleashed such a devastating attack, because your soldiers were about to kill them. But you are saying now that because they defended themselves, that they are too powerful and that they have to be annihilated? What?
After they were at least, we have still yet to see one person accept blame for what they do.
Yep. After they were attacked, you're saying you completely flipped the script, and now you're saying that all the Magi have to go. And not, oh my God, this made me so angry. I was just like, you are a little bitch. You have no backbone. He has wavered so many times. First he was on this side, then he was on this side. Then he went back to this side, and now he's back again to the side of betrayal.
It's so annoying. Gosh.
It's so frustrating. And first of all, how are you going to say that the Magi need to go? What about the Titans that are now living in your monarchy? What about your mother? She's capable of...
What about you should not be king, sir?
Right, but like, no. But what about the people in the monarchy that have magic? And what about his mother, who is equally as powerful? Are you going to kill her? I'm confused. I'm confused.
Says nothing about it.
What about yourself, Inan? You also possess magic. Are you going to kill yourself? I'm confused. I don't know what's happening. I just don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
So he's come to this conclusion that all the Magi have to die. And
this is okay. So we've come up with a few, let's just break this down right now. We've come up with a few things as to like they're almost everybody is in denial of like when they do things wrong, right?
Mhm.
For some reason, they still have like, so there's this one line that Anon says, soon there won't be any Arisha left to protect. You're not protecting anyone. First of all, you're not even in the battles. Second of all, your mom is destroying it. Okay, mommy dearest is destroying it. And like all they're asking for on the other side is peace. And so, but now you're saying, hey, you know what? It was my fault because I told Ajori where I was going to be. I went and then they caught us and then they fought them. But the problem is not us or anything I said, it's them.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Okay, cool.
Ah!
Very frustrating.
Sorry, my headphone fell out again.
It's okay. Very frustrating. And yeah, this is where I'm like, how young are they? Because I feel like no one's actually making sense. But we come to learn that Inan is 19. So there's
Yep,
that.
Inan is 19. 19 and stupid.
You know what, Shannon? His frontal lobe hasn't fully developed. That's the problem.
Oh, clearly. He's not stupid. He's just a traitor. He's literally just a traitor and he has weak resolve.
Yeah.
So the next in chapter 58, Zelie is still kind of reflecting on what happened and she feels horrible. Zane comes to get her to tell her that there's a meeting and she's just like, go away. I don't care. And then so Rowan makes an appearance again. I completely forgot about him. I didn't forget about him, but I just didn't know if he was coming back. And I don't know where
knew he was
from.
going to come back eventually, but I was just like,
Yeah.
really? Okay.
Yep. And he's just like, look at me. And he just like takes his face into her hands and they have a moment.
Again, maybe they should have made their relationship more in depth or clear or something, because I'm just like, sexual tension?
I'm sorry, I'm sorry, can you repeat everything you just said? Siri went off in my ear again and nope, it's happening again. Okay. Siri keeps
Stop saying her name.
Siri keeps going off in my ear. Stop it.
Don't say her name.
Every time I say her what'd you say?
Yes. Don't say her name.
I know. I'm realizing that that's what's happening. Okay.
What did I say? I said that Rowan, I knew he'd be back, right? I had a feeling. I was just like, really? Like now? And building onto that, I'm wondering, are you, yes, well, we find out at this moment when I was reading, I was like, are you actually there to help? Are you leading them to whatever you're going to tell them? Is it going to be beneficial for the first side you were playing on, which was Mother Dearest?
Well, he's not even, even here, he's not really even here to help. Genuinely out of his heart. He's here because the elders paid him to come and get her out of her room. Well,
or was he just saying that? That's what I'm saying. Like because he's going to help whoever's giving him the biggest amount of cash, right? So how do we know that Mother Dearest wasn't like, hey, offer to help them, accept whatever they say. I'll give you more and just.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
That's what I was thinking.
I don't,
you know what I mean?
I don't know if he would do that though, because I really do think that he likes Zelie, and I really do think that I don't think he would intentionally put her in harm's way.
But he also isn't. I don't know. I feel like he's there for the money.
I mean, he is there for the money, but I also think that he really likes Zelie, and I don't think he would intentionally put Zelie in harm's way. That's what I think. I don't know. I don't think that.
I don't know. Again, these men very wishy-washy apparently when it comes to their decision making.
Yeah. So basically, Zelie wants to run away. Actually, so she's ready to put everything behind her and run away and go beyond Orsha's borders. She said she never wanted to fight this war in the first place, and she didn't. She was kind of convinced to do it, and now is her perfect opportunity to run away. And Rowan is saying that like if you want to run away now is a good time to do so. And then Zelie kind of questions like, why are you saying that? Why do you think it's a good time? And he's like, I can't say more. And then she's just like, tell me. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then heading into 59, chapter 59, Amari's still fighting with I have to make this right. I like messed up a little bit, but like
can't make it right. You ruined it. It's done.
Right?
Some things you just can't fix.
And she's really afraid that the elders are going to hate her because, or potentially kill her because of what she did. But she finds out that Zelie hasn't said anything, and clearly we know that Zelie has like bigger things on her mind, like escaping and just getting away and being free. I do not blame her. She's been through a lot, so
Yes.
yeah. And so they're talking about what they should do,
Mhm.
and basically arguments just come out of everywhere, and people just can't seem to get on one page, and it's hard to keep track of everybody. And yeah,
Yeah. So
yes.
so they still want to fight, and then Kenyon says something about we have the power of the Moonstone, and then Amari says Zelie won't use that power again, not after what happened to Zelie. And then Kenyon's like, why did she get a choice? Everyone has to fight. Everyone's lost somebody. Everyone has to. That's the sacrifice you have to make for war. And then Amari's basically she's basically putting forth her plan. And she's like, if I can surround myself with enough connector titans, I think I can take my mother down.
Yep.
And that's basically the plan that they're pushing towards. But Zelie comes out of nowhere.
No, don't. Let's run away.
Yep.
Which actually doesn't seem like a bad idea. I will say, as much as they want to fight and stuff, like, why if everyone was just okay if they just moved their sanctuary somewhere else? At least that's what I would be like, maybe we should just leave, but I get the honor and you want to fight for your area and it's yours and everyone should live in peace. So it wouldn't actually solve anything.
Yeah, like running won't do anything because even if they run away, like there's no telling that they'll be safe. Like they might be hunted to wherever they decided to run to. So can't run from your problems. You got to face them. So when she proposed to run, like people weren't really buying that, and no one really wants to run but Zelie. So, but they were starting to like be a little bit on board with it. But then Amari opened her big mouth again and basically said that we have to fight them. And I'm just like, Amari, shut up. You've done so much damage already. This is your fault. And I thought that right there and then Zelie would just tell everyone that she's the reason why the army found them, so that they could like stop agreeing with her. I thought like she was gonna like say that, but she didn't, and that surprised me a little actually. But I feel like Zelie's gonna end up saying that in the next chapter.
Yeah, I think she'll be backed in a corner, especially now because she doesn't really care to fight. She just wants to live a peaceful life. I think that kind of, it's going to bend until it snaps, and that's kind of where they're at this point, because Zelie wants nothing to do with her, and now that she's disagreeing with her, took a lot of disagreements throughout this whole book with both of them, and that's why I don't get why Zelie was still helping her, trying to figure out her her magic and all that stuff, because it's like there's just so many instances where she doesn't even acts like she doesn't even want to help anymore, but somehow she's always persuaded to help her.
Yeah. So oh wait, sorry, we're not on this chapter. So basically they're left with this plan that they're gonna go and take back what's theirs, and we don't know what this plan is yet because we're done with the review for this week. So we'll find out next week what their plan is, and if it's even stupider than all of Amari's opinions. So we'll see.
Wait, question, what chapter are you on
right now? I just was talking about 60.
Oh, okay.
When Zelie comes and tells them that right, because we didn't really talk about the plan. So when Zelie comes and tells them that the king is hiding in Ibadan and the monarchy is expecting them to march on the palace and exhaust their forces in the wrong location, and then they plan to annihilate them when they're divided. So when people were asking Zelie what the plan was, knowing this information, she just says that we should take advantage of this opportunity and run away. Yeah. And that's what I was saying, that you can't run. I was saying that you can't run from your problems, basically. And then they have a disagreement about like they're not leaving, and then Zelie kind of like gets them to almost agree with her to run, but then Amari opens her mouth and says that we shouldn't run and that we should fight, basically, and that she has a better plan.
Fuels what everyone else wants to do anyway, so now they're just like, Team Amari, yeah, sure, let's do it. Anyways,
exactly. Yeah. So that's what's happening there.
Yes, and the council has spoken. So yeah, join us next week for chapter 61 through 80. We talk
Mhm.
about that, and then we'll be really close. And then the last week, we'll probably just do the last 10 chapters, and then we'll be good. Yeah. It's been fun so far. I feel like these are going to get really heavy because it just seems like more and more stuff is happening every single week.
Yep. Yeah, so
As always, catch us on our social media and yeah, go follow, like, 5 stars. 5 stars
mhm.
if you like what we talk about. Give us, leave us a review of even if you don't like something. Maybe you guys really hate book club and just let us know.
Yep.
Because
Maybe.
yeah, I'm like, if everyone hates it, we won't do it anymore. We could put our energy towards something else. I did put a poll up the other day. I do want to mention this on our Instagram. You guys should actually, if you don't follow our Instagram, go and follow it because that's kind of where we stem a lot of our ideas from. I'll put it up and it'll be so random. We'll get like a spark of ideas and it'll be like, should we do this? So the other day we were talking about, should we have potentially bonus episodes? So randomly one day I just put, hey, should we have bonus episodes? And if so, what would you want us to talk about? And these episodes wouldn't be just like what we do regularly where we just talk about what we did for the week. It would actually give us an opportunity to go in depth with one topic. So one I know we were throwing around was Umbrella Academy because I finished it, but by the time I finished it, I know we didn't have an episode and then it kind of like fell behind. But I think that show's great and I would totally do an in-depth because there's just a lot you can dissect from it. We did get a request for how we feel like Comic-Con is going to change after this year, and also cosplay, which is really cool. And of course, for those we would do way more research and try to figure out, have a really good analysis of what that would look like moving forward. So
Cool.
yeah, definitely follow us on social media because we tend to drop those little Easter eggs and then that's how we spark our ideas. So
Yes.
thank you, everybody.
Make sure you watch our YouTube videos too, guys, and subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Oh, yes. Leave us comments and
Yes.
let us know.
So, as always, I'm Shannon.
I'm Mel. Thanks, everybody, for listening.
Bye.
Bye.